Hello everyone, welcome to Topper IAS. As part of our daily series, today also we will discuss a topic keeping UPSC mains in mind. Okay, so let's get started. The topic that we have taken is urban floods. So the reason for taking it is monsoonal season, and you have come across Mumbai flooding and all those stuff. So we often see now urban floods as a topic making headlines. Okay, so basically flood is nothing but overflow of water that submerges land around. So river will be flowing. Natural meaning of floods, that river will be flowing in its channel. So whenever too much of rain, more amount of water, so river overflows from its channel, so that submerges land around it. So this is the natural meaning we know about flooding. Okay, but nowadays what you see is you get to see the instances of urban flooding. So flooding in cities and towns is a recent phenomena caused by increasing incidence of heavy rainfall in a short period of time. So basically remember, urban flooding is a new phenomena that you are going to witness now. So examples are Chennai floods of 2015 and the Mumbai floods also that you are seeing. So what is the reason for urban flooding? So the reasons are many. Okay, like indiscriminate encroachment of waterways and wetlands. See, basically urbanization phenomena, right? More people living in cities now, and a lot of infrastructure development, construction of buildings, all these stuffs will take place. So what will happen is, when you are constructing a building, roads and all this stuff, the existing waterways in the cities and even the wetlands, lakes will be converted. They will be moved from aquatic habitat to the, means you will be clearing that land by dumping the material and all those stuff. So by doing that, you are doing away with the flow of the river, flow of the water. So indiscriminate encroachment of waterways and wetlands, because naturally water flows through these waterways and wetlands, so that you are doing away with. Then where will the water flow, right? It will be standing at the location. That is why urban flood. Then inadequate capacity of drains and lack of maintenance of drainage infrastructure. So the drains capacity is not adequate, and also there is no maintenance of drainage also. Why? Because often you see a lot of waste material is within the drains, and water can hardly move along these drains. Then poor waste management is exacerbating the problem by blocking drains, canals and lakes. Yes, the waste problem is there everywhere, and these waste will get will block the drains, canals and lakes. The waste is getting filled everywhere. So that is also one of the reason for urban flooding. Then ill planned road projects that are cutting off flood flows. So as I said earlier, flood water will be naturally flowing in a way, but these regions are now encroached by the human beings because of construction of house and all this stuff. So that is what we call it as ill planned road projects, which are cutting off flood flows. Remember that. So these are the main reasons why you see the instances of urban flooding in India. Then other things, like urban flooding is significantly different from rural flooding. So how it is different is because urbanization leads to developed catchments. You see urban areas, constructed houses, concrete jungles, they are referred as. So water readily flows, so that will increase the catchment. Catchment is from the location from where water gets collected. So because of well developed surface areas in urban area, so water easily gets collected. So flood peaks from 1.8 to 8 times within a moment, and flood volumes up by 6 times. So consequently what you see is there is a flooding phenomena occurring very fast. Okay, so this is the thing. Then urban area, other thing aspect you have to keep in mind is urban areas are centers of economic activities. So growth centers, you see coastal states like Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Gujarat, right? So these coastal states are economically well developed mainly because of they are present along the coastlines. So when we are saying these states are well developed, particularly there are certain cities which are well developed compared to other regions of a state. Okay, so these are acting as a growth centers. Economic activities are concentrated in these states. But you see, what is happening now? These are the centers of economic activities, but they are likely to be damaged because of flooding. So in most cities, damage to vital infrastructure is happening, and this will have not only an implication for the economy of a nation as well as economic for the entire world, because globalized world, so trade links are there all along the world. So damage to a particular economic center will have impact on other economic activities as well. So urban areas being the economic centers of activity, so that is why we should keep also you should address the issue of urban flooding, because it will have a negative effect on your economic activity. Then coming to epidemics, see, you see secondary effects of possible epidemics and exposure to infection also. Obviously water logging conditions, so spread of diseases will begin. So possible secondary infections are all there. Then next points is related to what is the risk factor or the urban flood risk in India. See, there are certain factors which points to the risk of urban flooding in India. First one is heavy rainfall during monsoons. So you already know monsoon is highly erratic. So sometimes heavy intense rainfall, right? So that will lead to flooding. Too much of rain in a short period of time obviously will lead to flooding situation. So this is one risk factor. Then storm surges can also affect coastal cities and towns. Storm sizes surge is nothing but rise in sea level, water getting inundated because of a phenomenon like cyclones. Climate change exacerbating. More cyclones are now coming. More intense cyclones are coming. So because of that, you see the instances of storm surge along the coastlines. So that will also flood the coastal cities. Then other thing is urban heat island. See, urban heat island, a phenomena where urban areas experience warmer temperature compared to other areas. So because of this warm temperature, you see increasing instances of rainfall around the uh, urban areas. So that will also increase the risk factor. Then you have global climate change. Yes, the global climate change is resulting in all the changes in weather patterns, right? So you see in episodes of high intense rainfall even during the short period of time. So that will lead to urban flooding thing. Then there is a threat of sea level rise also. Yes, global warming, expansion of water, melting of glaciers, so rise in sea level. So that will also flood the coastal cities. So these are all the risk factors for urban flooding in India. So yes, because of the importance of cities for the from the economic point of view, not only that, first to save the lives and to overcome repetitive disasters of urban floods, these things have to be means urban flood issue has to be addressed. So keeping that in mind, National Disaster Management Authority has come out with guidelines on urban flood management. So certain guidelines are like, you create an inventory of existing stormwater drainage system. Meaning is, inventory is like creating a database of drainage base in a city. Okay, so that you do. Then all future road and rail bridges in cities crossing the drain to be designed such that they do not block the flows. So we have seen why the urban flooding. So blockage of the flow of water is one reason. So you take care that construction of roads do not block these flows. Then every building in urban area must have rainwater harvesting as an integral component of building utility. So rainwater harvesting, collecting the water that you receive rainwater. So every building should have a rainwater harvesting utility component in the building structure. Then low lying areas in cities have to be reserved for parks and other low impact human activities. So lying area is where naturally water will be flowing, right? So if flood is there, this area is likely to be impacted first. So reserve these kind of areas for parks. So do not permit construction of houses or people being present there. So that will also save the lives. Then encroachment on the drain should attract penal action. So once you penalize the encroachment of drains, that will also reduce the instances of encroachment. Then pre-monsoon desilting of all major drains. So we have seen blockage of drains is also one of the reason for urban flooding. So monsoon will bring high rainfall. So before monsoon, you see that drains are cleaned out. Then urban flooding has to be dealt as a separate disasters. So delinking it from riverine floods which affect the rural areas. So there is a difference between rural floods and urban areas. So you address the issue of urban flooding in sole as a sole problem. Do not link it or the bring in the methods that you employ in addressing rural floods. Then create national hydrometeorological network. It is nothing but collecting the information related to climate, rainfall and all those stuff. So these are the few guidelines which have been given by NDMA to address urban flood management. So why should we address? Because repetitive instances, man-made disasters, economically very costly for all, for nation as a whole. So that's why you should address this issue, and these are certain guidelines. Remember that. So that's it for today. You can also download the PDF of this link in the this document in the link that is shared below, and do download Topper Institute app so that you get access to a number of these videos. Thank you.